is going to be about how to create um, holes using Hole Wizard and the thread feature. Um, so I've just created a simple 200 millimeter block. Since I'm going to demonstrate how to create metric holes, I made sure that I am using millimeters for my unit system here. All right, now I'm going to show quick two examples. One that uses a Hole Wizard, and then two that uses the thread. Now, if you don't see Hole Wizard or thread, right click up here in the menu, go to Customize, then Commands, and then just simply search for, as you guessed it, thread. There'll be a couple other options here, cosmetic and filter. We'll talk about those later. For now, I would select thread and drag it up to my bar. I already have it, so just for cleanliness, I'll keep my toolbar clean. Same thing, same procedure with Hole Wizard. Okay, select OK. Now I have both options there. All right, so let's start with the Hole Wizard. So in one of your parts, I'll just give an example. We can go to the Hole Wizard and look through our options here. So the hole type, we have a through hole. It's going to go all the way through, so it's a straight hole, and it's going to be tapped. So it's going to actually cut using a tap to actually cut those threads. ANSI metric, that's also why I said we want to make sure we're in that unit system. Tapped hole, what are their options? Bottoming, straight pipe. No, we're not creating a pipe thread, so tapped hole. All right, now there are a bunch of different built-in options. So one of which is M8 by 1.25. Some of you, when you look at your drawing, have been asking me like, okay, is that 1.25 my depth? No, 1.25 is your thread pitch. All right, so think of it just as simply as the distance between the first thread when it goes around the circumference of the hole and the next thread. We'll go into more detail later. All right, so that's my size or type of hole. Okay, that one I'm gonna cut. So it's like, think about like how fine a thread. If I go to a 1 M10 by 1, that would be a finer thread pitch. All right. Okay. So through all, if your hole goes through all, choose through all. If not, specify the depth by choosing blind. Other options, I'm not going to go over. Okay, so now you might be like, all right, well, where are we going to put this hole? If you look up here, we have the type of hole specified. We also have positions. If we have existing 2D sketch, we could possibly use that. 3D sketch, don't use those. It's not apparent at this point, but you can actually start to click on a face by selecting that face. So I just left clicked and selected that top face, and then I have another ability to then put a point. Okay, now just for the sake of time, I'm going to just go ahead and say okay. And all of a sudden, we have all the features we need. So it says M8 1.25, yep, tapped hole, okay. Now goes through all just like we specified. But I want to point out a couple things real quick. I didn't specify exactly where that position of that point was. I could do that after the fact. So I can go and edit sketch and then give it dimensions, just give it some random dimension here from side and the top. Okay. So you would select on your part, you could select the face, give it a general location, and then come back into the sketch, this first sketch, and locate it, position it correctly, okay? The other sketch that's showing is define how to, if we're going to drill that hole, what diameter, all that kind of stuff. We'll go in more detail later, but these are all predefined things that you get to take advantage of. And then the actual thread itself, we can edit that feature and look at it and say, oh, okay, the actual outside is a diameter of 8. All right. So that's that for creating a hole wizard hole. Now, as you'll see with one of your parts, you don't have a hole wizard of a certain size. So that's where we go to thread. So I went into the feature just to show you that even here we don't have M38 by 2, which is one of the holes you're looking for. And also to show you that it's in contrast to the hole wizard, it's looking for you to have a edge of cylinder if I hover over edge of cylinder. So it needs that. Okay. So obviously I can't do that, so X out of that. Go ahead on create a sketch on a face that you want to create your hole on, and then create a circle. And I'm going to give a dimension. It says M8 by 38, M38. So I'm going to specify that 38 millimeters in diameter. Okay. And then again here, you'll have your dimension from a location. I always find my sketch, even though it's just for demonstration. It's nice. Okay. So you finish that. Now we have to create a cut extrude because we need edge of cylinder. So you need to look at your part. I'm not going to give you the answer here, but you need to look at, okay, on the edge of this cylinder that we're going to have, it says M38 by 2. Okay. 2 is not the depth. You need to look at the feature and just determine what the depth is. Okay. So I just put in 18. Now I can go to my thread, and now I have an edge of cylinder. Okay. That's that blue box. So I'm going to select the edge of this cylinder. Okay. Now if I say okay, it's going to complain. It's not complete. Well, there are other couple features here. And if I hover over them, optional start point. Okay. Well, where do we want the threads to start? Probably at the top, right? Because we want like a screw or something to go in there. And then how far do we want it to go? Up to that face. And when you see that preview, you know that it's probably going to create that. Now, the last thing you need to do is come back to, okay, if I hover over this, I think it says override diameter. And then if I hover over this, override pitch, thread pitch, same thing, okay? So to press that button, hit 2. That's my thread pitch now with diameter 2, and you can visually see how it changes. And you can play around with that to get a better idea what thread pitch means. Say okay, and there you go, done. Make sure to save your part as always. That's it.